I'm Dr. Len. I'm a psychologist when I'm not doing the karate stuff. So I like to put together talks that can help you to get stronger on the inside. Karate is going to make you good and strong on the outside, but not many people are going to come up to you and try to punch you in the nose. I don't think, okay? At least up till now, it hasn't been that way. But people are going to come up and tease you, push you around, call you names, call your little brother or sister's names. They may even bully you. They may even take something that belongs to you. That's going to happen almost every day. So I want you to have something inside. So when something like that happens, you can deal with it and not melt down. And fighting isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's the only answer, but it's not always the answer. And learning when it is and when it isn't the answer, that's part of growing up. It's part of becoming a black belt. Okay? So we've got a great talk, I think, for the adults and for the young people. We are talking about the power of words, all right? Your words are so incredibly powerful. Now, if you've lived a little bit, you know exactly what I mean, all right? I have seen families torn apart for years because of some dumb thing that somebody said. Maybe you know some as well, okay? That's anything that is preventable, try to prevent it. That's what you want to do. And your words can bring things together. Your words can bring things apart. It really is up to you. All right. Now we got a good one today. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Is that old? Is that new? Do they still do that? Still do that? Okay. That was something when I grew up in the playground, that's what we heard when we were little. But you know what? It sounds pretty good when you're little, but as you get a little bit older, you realize, well, that isn't really true. Words can hurt. They can hurt a lot, all right? Words that you use to people like your family, your friends, those are words that can make them feel better about themselves or make them feel just awful. And whatever those feelings are, they can last for a very long time. They can last a lifetime. Okay? Now, this week's talk, we're going to use Dippy and Doodle, and they're going to show us the power their words can have on each other. Now, remember as we go through this, you are in control of the words you use to other people. That's one thing, that's part of growing up responsibility. You have, oh, she made me say that. No. Nobody got inside of you and pushed buttons. You have to be able to say, I'm in charge of the words I use. So I can bring things together or I can take things apart. Okay? Well, it was a regular day at good old FMAC, and Wisdom was up there giving his talk, talking about the power of words and the words that you say. Now, words can hurt. We do that too often. Words can hurt. Imagine a little sister who's hearing this from her big brother almost every day. You're a loser. No one's ever going to like you. You're ugly. Ugh. Can you imagine what's going to happen after some years goes by? That person's going to grow up and not feel very good about themselves. Now, words can also heal. All right, now think of this young person who's hearing, oh, you're going to be fine. Don't worry. You can do it. I believe in you. Now, that person's probably going to grow up and feel pretty good about themselves. And that is a really good thing. Life is rough enough, but if you can get a little bit older and be happy, kind of satisfied with what's in your life, you've done a great thing. So he said, remember that your words can hurt, your words can heal, and especially remember you're in control of the words that you use. Well, Dippy kind of liked that. He liked to think about the talks on the way home. So, but he remembered he hadn't heard that thought before about words hurting or healing. He knew that sometimes when people said mean things to him, he didn't like it. But he never really thought about there was power in that. And then he thought about an argument he had with a friend at school. He said some pretty mean things to that kid at school. And now he was feeling kind of bad about that. And he remembers a fight he had with his sister Doodle. And he said some really mean things to her as well. And now he felt bad about that. But you know what? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone. Everyone makes mistakes. The minute you recognize and take responsibility for your mistake is the moment you start letting it go and getting better. Okay? Now, Dippy realized he's got some work to do before he's able to control his words. That's probably a good place to be. Okay? Well, he gets himself at home, puts up his uniform, but then he hears some little sobbing out in the other room. So he goes over there, and Doodle's sitting on the bed, and she's crying. And he says, "Hey, what's wrong?" She says, "I got a D on my test." Ooh. Okay? Well, brothers are brothers, and sometimes a bigger brother gets a little bit carried away with thoughts. And when he heard that he had some rash thoughts, he thought, "Ha ha, you got a D, and you're supposed to be the smart one." Well, sometimes we don't have much of a filter. Well, that did it. Let me tell you, the dam burst. Okay, the floodgates were open and the tears were falling. Okay, and you know when something like that happens because of something you do, all of a sudden the rash thoughts kind of go, "Uh-oh, I'm out of here." Because you stop thinking of the rash things as soon as you realize you've done something wrong, you've hurt somebody. And when that happens, there's room for the good thoughts to come in. Self-control came right up and said, "Dippy, those were some really mean words. You have to learn how to think before you speak." And then integrity came up and said, "Don't you remember what he said in class tonight? Words can hurt and words can heal." And then wisdom popped up for one final one saying, "Remember, you're in charge of your own words. Nobody else can control your words but you." Now, do the right thing, integrity says. Wow, he felt bad. He looked at her crying. He really realized that he made a mistake. And that's the part of things that change our lives. Okay, don't think of that as, oh, he recognized that he had hurt somebody he cares about. And now he was going to try to do something to fix that. And that's what we do when we make mistakes. Doodle, I am so sorry. I thought I was making a joke, but I can see that all I really did was hurt you. I really am sorry. Well, she kind of looked at him. The crying stopped. That was good. And then he said, "I'm going to help you explain to Mom and Dad about the test score. Then I'm going to help you study for your next test." And she kind of looked at him and, "Thanks, Dippy." Okay. Well, you know what? Dippy kept his promise. He helped her to study for her next test. And about 2 weeks later, she got a B+ on her next test. So that worked out really well. Okay, remember the words that you use are already changing lives around you. The things you say to friends, especially the things you say to brothers and sisters, moms and dads. And then I got to go on the other side too, moms and dads. Sometimes we say things that we need to kind of get some control over as well. When we get angry, we get tired, sometimes we make mistakes. But when you do, try to fix it. Try not to wait years and years to try to fix it. I know a family went through one of that, and one of the people involved in it passed away. Now, there's absolutely no way for there ever to be a resolve in that situation. I'm glad I'm not facing that. Okay? Think of the words you use, be really careful with them.